giving a talk on things you need to know in property auction. Mr. Surendran is the Chief Marketing Officer in Property at Max Capital Management Holdings Limited. With his extensive years of experience in property, private equity sales, and project management. He has been our speaker on related topics on multiple occasions in the past in relation to property. So let's welcome speaker, Mr. Surendran. Over to you.
Thank you, Audrey, for a wonderful introduction about MCM as well myself. All right, guys, it's a great pleasure to meet you guys again in our event. And today I got a very interesting topic that I always love to talk about property, right? Okay. So today I got an interesting knowledge sharing that I would like to share with you guys. I hope you guys can see my slides already. Already you can see my slide, right?
Yep.
Okay, so lend me a little bit of your time, okay, on your precious time on Wednesday evening to listen to me share with you guys about auction property. Okay, this sharing that I'm going to share with you guys is just purely my experience, okay, and things that a little bit that I know about property investment and auction. All right, so let's dive into today's topic. Okay, so let's allow me to start this presentation with a question. Okay, so today's presentation I'm also going to ask a lot of questions and I'm going to answer myself as well. Okay, I'm sure these are some of the questions that will arise in your mind. Okay, whenever you think about property investment, especially in auction property, right? So the most common questions that people ask about auction property. Are all the property price in auction is lower than the market? Okay, so for those people who always go for property auction, they can answer this very clearly, very directly. The answer is definitely no. All right, so then why is property auction is so great? Okay, so property auction, right, most of the time when they start the auction, okay, the first auction of the property, most of the time, they are either in the market price or slightly below market price or the bank valuation. All right, but then these auction properties, when there is no one going for the bidding, okay, means there is no one registered for the bidding and the auction, the first round is over, the bank then will decide to reduce the price further another 10%. Most of the time it's around 10%. And then if let's say nobody come for that session, they will go further another 10% and 10%. That is what make the second or third round of property auction, usually the price is definitely very attractive. All right, so this is where we go and hunt for good deals, okay? All right, so now let's go for my second question. Okay, very interesting question as well. Where can you find the list of property going for auction? Okay, how do you know? You want to go for auction, I know auction property is so good, but where can I find this auction property? So there are a few places that you guys can go and have a look to find this auction property. So the most common one those days, we always like to go and see in newspaper. Okay, and there are also licensed auctioneers. Okay, these licensed auctioneers will be assigned to auction this property. Usually they have their own list as well. Okay, either in their website or in the auctioneers in front of their office as well. And you also can go and find some of the lists of the property going for auction in High Court. Okay, you can go and find in the display panel as well. And lawyer firm, some of the lawyer appointed for this auction, they also have the list and also auction website. So the most common one today we're in digital era, right? So all of us want to have information with few clicks. All right, with Google search, right? So most of the common way today we are finding those listings is actually from the auction websites. Okay, so this is some two websites that normally I use to search for auction properties. Okay, so these websites, the first two is Lelong Tips and another one Auction List. So you guys can go to these websites and search your particular location that you are interested, and they will give you a list and will be updated regularly. Okay, when is the upcoming auction? Okay, what type of property is coming for auction? And they have all this data over there where you guys can go and access. If you guys want to know more, you guys either can go and click there, and then to the auctioneer, you can ask them in the portal or look for any of these auctioneers that in the list that do the advertisement. Okay, so this is second thing to talk about the where you can find the auction property, right? So let's, the next question. This is very, very interesting. Okay, for those people who have been to auction, just now we heard there is a question, right? There was a question is talking about, have you guys been to auction? Because some of you guys maybe want to go auction, almost go to auction, but never get to go to the actual auction scene, right? So most common documents, these are some of the documents that you guys need to know. So this document called a Proclamation of Sale, okay, or better generally known as a POS. So this POS is the most important document when it comes to property auction. Okay, so you go to the list, okay, you go and find, oh, this particular property is near my place and the price is kind of attractive. So the first thing you need to do, go and get the POS, okay, the Proclamation of Sales. So what is this Proclamation of Sale all about? Okay, so Proclamation of Sale, POS, mostly they have all this information about the auction. So these are some of the information you guys can get in the POS. First thing, the current owner of the property. Okay, who is the chargee, right? So who actually own the property right now, who is staying in the property right now. Second information, the bank who hold the charge. So you can see which bank actually going out for the auction. Number 3, the date and time and also the location of auction. Okay, auction is not done in front of the house, right? So there will be a venue where they will be doing the auction. All right, so the information will be written in the POS, where, what time, and the location. Okay, and then the information about the property. Okay, such as the address, the full address. You guys can see the title details, whether it's a freehold, okay, or a leasehold property, or residential or commercial property and whatnot. And then there are also size information, what are the size, the land size of the property, and so on. There is quite a lot of information that you guys can get just by looking at this POS. Okay, and also we can see the bank details. So when they want to go for auction, right, we have to prepare the banker's check or the bank draft, right? So when you want to prepare the bank draft, you need to be addressed to somebody, right? So that information also can be attained in the POS, okay, which is the bank, who is the auctioneer, okay, and who is the lawyer firm going to manage the whole thing. What is the reserve price? Okay, this reserve price is also something very, very interesting. Some people see, okay, the market price is around 1 million, then the reserve price, they talk about 800,000. Doesn't mean that you go there, you can go back with the property with 800,000, right? So the reserve price actually we call the starting price. Okay, it's the starting price where the bidding going to start. Okay, and then remaining balance payment schedule. If let's say you paid the 10% deposit, and then where is how long do you have for you to settle the balance remaining payment and so on. So these informations you guys can get in the POS. Okay, so I have actually prepared a sample of POS. Okay, this is one of the auction that I went. Okay, I cannot show all this information. So you guys can see this chargee. Okay, you guys can see the chargee is the Malaysia Building Society Berhad. I'm sure you guys, some of you guys heard about this bank, some of you guys never heard about this bank. Okay, it's better known as MBSB Bank. Okay, Malaysian Building Society Berhad is the chargee. So basically they are auctioning this property, and the charges is basically who is the owner of the property. Can be 1 or 2 owners is common, and the public auction. Okay, where is it located, and you know what time, and where is it exactly. Okay, so we also can see further all the other information about this auction, property auction. So you can see, okay, so the particulars of title, what is the title number, okay, what's the location, the address, the tenure, whether freehold or leasehold. You guys can see the size of the property, the annual rent, the rent, the registered owners, okay, the category, and so on. So this information also very, very important for us to do the due diligence, right? So this information is available in the POS. Okay, so you also can see the address, the actual address of this property. Okay, sometimes when we see in the auction website, they won't give the full address. Okay, purposely they will keep for their premium paying clients. So when we get the POS, we actually can get the full address of the property. Okay, and then you guys can see the reserve price. Okay, the reserve price, if you guys see in this particular property, is 280,000 ringgit. Okay, and then they also mentioned there we should prepare 10% deposit, 10% of the reserve price in the form of bank draft in favor of Bank Kerjasama Rakyat Malaysia Sdn Bhd before 9:30 a.m. and we have to settle the balance within 120 days. Okay, so you guys can see the information here. Who is the auctioneer and who is where is it going to be located? Okay, so these are the information lah. Okay, and next, I would like to take up this also another important thing, the condition of sales. Proclamation of Sale already contain a lot of information, but at the same time, we also should ask for this condition of sale. Many of us sometimes they don't know that the existence of condition of sale. Condition of sale is also very, very important document that you guys need to know. If there is any conditions, what are the conditions when you buy these properties? Okay, so let me just go through a bit about condition of sale in Malay, because syarat-syarat jualan. Okay, and I don't want to read everything. Of course, there is a lot of information. Okay, just for example, I show you number 4. Okay, if you are a non-bumi, okay, if you want to go and buy the Malay reserve property, you really cannot. Okay, but then they won't inform us. They won't inform us, tell that this is a Malay reserve property. So don't come and bid for this property. When you read this, you should understand yourself. Okay, this is what we need to do when we come to property auction. Okay, and also you guys can see another item here, item number 12. Baki belian hendaklah diselesaikan oleh pembeli dalam masa tidak lebih daripada 120 hari, which is also 4 months. Okay, but then this 120 days is a guideline. So we all have to settle the balance remaining by acquiring the loan or paying by cash within 120 days. But there are times you guys can ask for extension. Okay, but of course with the valid reasons, with the help of a lawyer for them to go and appeal to get extension if in case we could not settle the remaining balance within the time given. Okay, so you see the item number 19 is also very important. Mention very clearly what are they going to do with the money they get by selling this property. Okay, so they see all the party that have the interest on the property. For example, they need to pay the cukai tanah. Okay, they need to pay for the auctioneer. They have to pay to the law of the pejabat tanah. Okay, they have to pay all the costs that comes for the property auction also. And then if let's say there is a excess, okay, there is a surplus, they are going to pay to the penggadai. Penggadai means it's an old owner. For example, this property remaining balance is 300,000, but the property managed to be auctioned at 500,000. It's a surplus of 200,000. So they pay all this cost. So the remaining balance will be paid to the existing owner. So doesn't mean that the property going for auction, then the property owner is not going to get anything. Okay, if you're lucky, everybody want to buy a property, if people bid the property price high enough, you also can get something out of it. Doesn't mean that you are going to be you're going to lose totally, right? So I've seen many auctions where property price went above market price. Again, sometimes people have this particular there are some property very high demand one, and where people have very high interest on. For example, if my parents is the neighbor house, I want to buy this house, so they have a special need or special interest to buy the property. Or for example, it has an emotional value. For example, my parents stay there and I don't want to let go of this property. I really want back this property for myself. So the children can come and fight for the property no matter what the price they're willing to buy. So this kind of situation also happen in the auction. Okay, so doesn't mean that competitors is investor only. So the competitor can be the neighbor, or could be their children's, or it could be whoever that have interest to buy the property. Okay, so yes, item number 23 is also very interesting. Pemegang gadaian tidak bertanggungjawab untuk menyerahkan milikan kosong harta berkenaan kepada pembeli, which means so after you pay everything, okay, you paid off everything, you pay the full settlement already. If you buy a subsale property or you go and buy a new development property, right, you always get the key, right? Okay, you always get the key. But in this scenario, for auction property, Sorry, there is no key. Okay, the house is yours. You figure out how you're going to go in. Okay, so means there is no key. Second thing is there is no vacant possession. Milikan kosong means vacant possession. Means if there is things inside the house or people are still staying there, you have to find a way how to make, bring them out. Okay, but the property is legally belong to you. I will touch a little bit later about this, where when we come to eviction and so on. Okay, so let's go to the next question. What are the due diligence or preparation need to be done before going for auction? So you are interested to to buy this property, and you already go and study the POS. We got all the information. And what are the other due diligence need to be done before we go for the auction? So let's see together. So first thing first, this is after the POS, after getting the POS, the next most important thing we do is land search. Land search is very, very, very important. I will show you guys in a while what are the information contained in this land search. Land search have to be done independently by ourselves, or if let's say your auctioneer is helping you to pick the property, you guys can actually request them to do for you, but of course it comes with a cost lah. Okay, but most of the time we actually can take the information, the POS, go to a land office and get the land search done and get the documents. And if you don't know how to study the document, maybe we can get a lawyer to interpret the information. So land search is something that in every property transaction we are doing one. Normally even sub-sale property, when we're selling a property, the lawyer, the first thing they do is always land search. Okay, so second thing, you guys need to find out about the property type. Okay, whether it's a Bumi property, a non-Bumi, or Malay reserve. Okay, if it's a Bumi or non-Bumi, I won't say it is the most dangerous. Okay, but Malay reserve, you definitely cannot. If you're non-Bumi, I cannot buy Malay reserve property. So make sure you know what kind of property are we getting. All right. And then the third thing is our loan capacity. The loan capacity is very, very important. For example, you want to go and buy this property at 500,000, you never check your DSR. Okay, first thing first, we need to know our loan capacity. How much loan are we capable to get? If let's say we want to buy property worth 1 million and our loan capacity is only 500,000, 600,000, then the bank will only approve 50% of the loan, and the balance you need to crack your head how you're going to pay the remaining balance. Okay, so how we're going to get this loan capacity check is basically by look for a banker. Mortgage banker will definitely help us to study and see how much roughly loan that we can get. And some, if you have a very good relationship with the banker, some even can help you to do some sort of pre-approval to do a full check in your documents, and then to kind of like you know how much loan that you can get for any property that you're buying. Then you can go into the auction house confidently, and you know what is the limit of the price as well. Okay, so the next one. View the actual property by visiting the property to see the actual condition. A lot of us also very, very smart one. Today we got Google Map, all right? So Google Map, we go and click the Google Map, we go and see, hey, the house is so nice. Okay, the house is so beautiful, very nice. But then when you go there, all the along already put the red color paint. Okay, and then the house, partially burned down. You also don't know. So the best thing to view the actual property, we have to go drive there or to get somebody to go there to see the actual property. It's very important, and you need to see what kind of people are staying there. Okay, are these people easy to evict them? Or sometimes even if you're running a bit, if you're daring a bit, you can even try to talk to them and say, hey, actually I'm trying to buy this property. And you see, if they are very fierce towards you, then you might have some issues to evict them. Or if let's say they are friendly, then they are like, hey, sorry I understand, this is the thing that we are going through. And if they are nice enough, with their consent, you actually can even go inside the house and see what's the condition of the property, right? So this is all based on our personal effort. This is all personal effort. Nobody else is going to help us to do this other than ourselves. Okay, now let's talk about the market price and the bank valuation of the property. Okay, so we have to see, of course, when we do the due diligence, we have to see what are the price other people selling in the current in the area. Okay, so that's how you can see the market price. Most of the time, we'll go to iProperty or we go to Muda to check whether this property, the reserve price to market price. What is the difference? How much can you go? Okay, so we study that, and also the bank valuation. Okay, if let's say you go bid the property, okay, the property price went above the bank valuation, and then you cannot get secure the loan, even though you have the DSR, the debt servicing ratio. Sorry, you still have to come up with the balance remaining all from your pocket. Okay, so be careful on that. Okay, and then LACA. LACA or non-LACA. What is LACA? This is a common word that will be used in auction as well. LACA means loan agreement cum assignment. Okay, loan agreement cum assignment means, right? So usually some of the property in Malaysia, when they build a condominium or a high rise, right? So sometimes the developer might not do the process where they change the master title to an individual strata title. Okay, so in that scenario, we call it a LACA case. Means the property is still under the master title. Okay, so this kind of property is still in master title, right? It's a little bit difficult to transfer, especially if the property is more than 10 years. Okay, new property, even though they don't have the title, the developer sometimes will be still there, the liquidator will be still there. So it's easy for them to retrieve the information and to do the transfer. But if the property is too long ago and the strata title is not issued, the property transfer can take 1 year or even more sometimes, because they could not get all this information to transfer the property, right? So land search. Okay, so just now I mentioned after POS, the next most important thing we need to do is to do the land search, right? So let's see the document, land search. So this is how a land search look like. Okay, so the land search also contains some of the information that you can see in POS as well. Okay, so the jenis hak milik, okay, what's the size, and you know what type of property is this. Okay, so this is our common information lah. The next one is more important. Okay, the next one is more important. You guys can see who is the owner. Okay, of course you guys can see this in the POS as well. But then you guys can see another part, the record urusan and lain-lain. You can see the caveat. This is the reason why we want to see the land search. In the land search, only in the land search we can actually find out who caveat on this property. Okay, and then I'll show you in a while. Okay, so you guys can see some funny caveat. Okay, so caveat, when there is a caveat on the property, transferring the property will become much more hassle. You'll have more hassle because you need to release the caveat before we do the transfer. Okay, and there is two types of caveat lah. There are registrar caveat and there is individual caveat or caveat persendirian lah. Okay. Alright, so basically this one, when you see RHB bank caveat, means you easily understand that the bank caveat because they give the loan, so that's why they do the caveat, which is once you settle the house remaining loan balance, they will release the caveat. This is a common one. Okay, this is the uncommon one. Okay, special one. Okay, this one is because this is the property that I went for auction, so I know. Okay, I managed to find this company go and caveat this particular property. Okay, something gold lah. So I went and do a little bit of Google and due diligence and found out this is a the lending company. So if let's say this lending company caveat on the property, okay, normally people don't want to go for auction one. People very scared to go for auction when they see this kind of lending company licensed lending company to put the auction. So this is something that we need to make sure we notice. Okay, and for this kind of people, sometimes you might need cash to buy the property, because to release the caveat might need some time. It will take a little bit long time for us to do the release of the caveat. It might 120 days might not be enough for us to do the release. Okay, so we normally will see people. They want to go for this kind of property, they will have enough cash for them to buy the property cash first and then release the caveat, and then only they go and refinance the property. Okay, so can we go for property auction online? So this is also something that recently become very, very hot because of MCO. Okay, because of MCO also become very, very hot. You see people already start to do e-lelong. The government also already moved most of the auction of most of the state in Malaysia to e-lelong. Okay, so e-lelong information basically you guys can get in this particular website. Okay, you guys can just go and search e-lelong kehakiman. Okay, so all the information and the manual how to register for this e-lelong is available in the website. Okay, so mostly you guys can see this high court auction. Okay, high court auction normally is the non-laka cases. Non-laka means they already have the individual title. Okay, so you guys can see. So e-lelong, everybody need to go and register. Okay, those people who want to go for e-lelong, to go for online bidding, you definitely have to go and register here. This is one website that everybody must have to create your identity to say that you want to be an online bidder. Okay, but then in this situation, just now when I say non-laka case, non-laka case means they already have the title. So this auction normally will be done in high court. Okay, so when they want to go high court or auction, you still have to bring your bank draft physically to go and submit your bank draft. Okay, doesn't mean that everything online means online. No. Okay, for high court case, you need to send the bank draft physically to the high court. Okay, and then laka case. Okay, normally laka case will be done by a private party. So you can see this, loan agreement assignment. This kind of auction, if you guys can see, they haven't get the charter title yet. So they allow third party company auctioneers to do the auction themselves. Okay, so for that one, you guys can see they have. You can actually do the transfer online. Okay, you can put the deposit online. You can do online transfer as well. Okay, so you don't have to physically bring the bank draft in this scenario. Okay, you can do online banking lah. Okay, so I'm towards to the end of my today's presentation. So let me just finish this, but I have some important tips that I want to share with you guys lah. Okay, always have your target price ready and be firm. The environment lah. Okay, I'm sure some those people who have been to auction have that kind of excitement when they go to the auction for the property that they announce, okay, now we're going to auction this particular property, please come inside. So all of us go in, the excitement is very high one. Okay, so somehow you have this kind of competition that you want to win the property one. I definitely want to buy this property. So when people say every increment normally 5,000 ringgit, so you raise your hand, the price will go up sometimes without you realizing. You might actually buy the property above your target price or above market price. Okay, that is why they do the auction. They have this excitement thing going on. Okay, so what we need to do as a investor, I'm talking from an investor perspective. So we must always have our target price ready. Okay, what is when we see our physically, what is the property condition, how much the property can be sold upon purchasing, and roughly how much cost do I need to renovate the property, what are the costs for me to acquiring the property, and what is the maximum amount you can go to make the amount of profit that you're expecting. So when we have the numbers firm with us, so it's easy for us to stop. We know where to stop. Okay, so this is also very, very important in that have our target price. Okay, mistake can be costly. This is some of the things I mentioned just now. Okay, the DSR. Okay, we need to make sure our loan capacity is okay for us to go and bid for the property. Second thing is the cost of purchasing. Okay, for example, 10%, they say the reserve price 300,000. So the 10% is 30,000, but you go bid, then the property become 400,000. You might need to come up with extra 10,000. You might not have that money, and things can go ugly. Okay, so this is also very important. And the repairs, auction property, most of the time we cannot inspect inside the house, so you can expect some surprises. Sometimes they might have termite in the house and so on. So we have to be careful in that as well. Okay, so be greedy. Be greedy when others are fearful. This is also a very important tips. Okay, like just now I mentioned the property with the lending company, right? So when people see that, most of the time, people see already don't want to go. They won't go for the auction, except those smart investors, they know how to settle this. So this, when people are running away, that is our opportunity to solve the problem and get the good deal. Okay, and then bad location doesn't mean it's no good. For example, when you want to go for auction, does that mean you must buy the property in KL? Can you buy the property in Kuala Selangor, in Kapar, or in Semenyi? You know, why can we buy the property there? As long there's a demand, actually we can buy the property. As long the property market price and also the reserve price got very big gap in between, we actually can go. Doesn't mean that we have to focus on KL or Selangor only. Okay. The caveat I mentioned just now actually can be cleared, but it just need more time, and you might not be in buy the cash. A rundown house, okay, a rundown house also a lot of people scared to go because they think the cost of renovation will be huge. But then, of course, if you're good enough, if you do enough due diligence, you can bring some contractor and go and ask them to do a little bit of rough calculation to see how much it will cost to renovate the house. But who knows? After you renovate, you still can make 10-20% or more profit by selling the property. Okay, so we have to be greedy when others are fearful. This one told by Warren Buffett. All right. Okay, eviction. Eviction is also another case where after we get the property and the owners refuse to go out from the property. This is actually, it's not impossible. Actually can be done one. You can actually get a court order to evict them professionally by engaging a lawyer to give them notice and also professionally ask them to leave the property. Also very, very important. We have to follow all the legal method. I cannot go there, cannot go and lock the door and then go and sound them. So even though the property belongs to us, there are ways and how to do the eviction. Have to get a lawyer to help us. And there is always next time. Yes. So it doesn't mean that you miss out on one particular deal means it's gone. I don't want to go auction anymore. Auction all like that one. It's not necessarily. So make sure you guys actively go and look for next and next and next. Okay. So when we see 10, maybe 1 or 2 is good. Sometimes you see 30, you see 1 or 2 is good. It's also good enough for us to find. Just because it's difficult, a lot of people don't go. So it's an opportunity for us to go and grab these good deals. Okay, so I think that's all my presentation for today. I take more than 30 minutes to share my presentation. So anyway, thank you so much for your attention and your time, lending me a little bit to share a little bit of my experience about auction property. So I pass the floor back to Audrey. Thank you, Audrey.
All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Surin, for the knowledge sharing insight into auction property.